How's it going, everybody? I'm Nick Sullivan.
And I'm Jeremy Kane.
And this is Beefin with the Boys. We're back with another episode with Ashley Kitchener.
Ashley Kitchen.
Kirchner.
Ashley Face Shiner.
Kirch.
Ashley Black Eye.
Ashley.
Kind of green right now. It's blue. It's my favorite
multiple
color.
colors. Looks great.
I tried to tell her all I wanted was a sandwich with no lettuce, and she brought it to me with lettuce.
You put arugula on it.
No, I put mayo instead of ranch on your Subway sandwich.
No.
Oh, sorry. We said we were going to do this. Fun fact. We're all hanging out over the weekend trying to figure out the podcast. Yeah. And we go into like food, like great food. And Ashley stopped everybody in the room, was like, I have to tell you about my favorite sandwich, and proceeds to tell us about a Subway sandwich.
I was a Subway artist for 2 years.
You weren't there for that?
No, it was Xander.
I was not there.
She like was so proud to like say this sandwich, and she was like, yeah, it's my favorite one from Subway. And we were like, are you kidding me?
Guys,
who the fuck still goes to Subway?
There's nothing in my hometown. I lived in a town of no one for 27 years.
And you have not branched out to, let's say, walk across the street.
I just asked Ranch
what's
for
that
mayo.
place? The locale? The
local foods.
Sweet Jesus, that
Ranch
sandwich.
or mayo? That's my question.
I had to get off that chance.
Ranch.
Okay.
Wait. On a sandwich?
Yes.
Mayo. Unless it's a chicken bacon ranch.
I'm a neither guy.
Ranch.
I'm a neither guy.
Oh, mustard mayo all day.
Whatever. Next.
Day.
What a hot start.
All day. All right. I'm just gonna, simple question. I like to know things. It's gonna say a lot about you guys. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, I've known mine for years.
Mine's just to read someone's mind.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I'm an open I'm an open book, and so I don't like when,
intel officer.
Yeah, intel
checks
guy.
out.
Like I love knowing people, obviously, and so like then also I just feel like times in my life where like I'm a good communicator, and someone doesn't communicate with me, it drives me up a wall. And so being able to read your mind, I don't give a fuck if you communicate or not, because I'll know.
That's awful, because my mind's going all over the place all the time. I'd wear you out. You'd be like, oh, God.
But it would be a superpower.
Nick, shut up. I'm not saying anything.
It would be the superpower to like find out exactly what is Nick thinking about this? Boom.
Mine's kind of fitness related. I wish I could eat 10,000 calories a day and stay absolutely fucking shredded and not like worry about it. No, I'm not even kidding. That's how much I love food.
Let me introduce you to my friend Ozempic.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me you could have any superpower in the world.
I love
you just
eating
wish
more than anything in the world.
you
It's
had
my
a
favorite
bottomless pit.
I am. My family calls me a bottomless pit.
Me too.
But like
That's
I gain
not what I want.
That's all I want. It makes me happier than anything.
I think you'll quickly learn that you can eat too much and it will get boring.
No, it never does.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I wish I was Magneto, because I can fly, I could send metal in crazy places, and I'm probably super strong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Flying would be good.
Bend metal and fly. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mine wins.
Yeah, I could take on everybody. Just saying.
Okay. That one's cool.
There's no other real reason. I just want to be able to fly and bend metal. I think it's cool. I thought Magneto was the best.
You could look like you bend metal right now.
And that's cooler than a bottomless pit?
Hell yeah, I can fly. You
Whatever.
just eat.
Doesn't matter.
So for this episode, I think there were some leftover questions that people wanted to know about me as a person. So Nick is going to kind of lead that, and then we're going to open it up if Ashley wants to know anything about me personally, or fitness, or personal, whatever, or business, who knows. And then we'll get into some frequently asked questions regarding fitness and dive down some fitness rabbit holes.
Yeah, so this kind of dawned on me this weekend when we were watching the F1 in Monaco. I remember when I first met Jeremy, we went to his house in New Braunfels, Texas, and he had this huge trophy with a little race.
It was a national champion, like IKF trophy, yeah.
He's got his little helmet there, and I'm like, Jeremy, what the fuck is all this kind of stuff? And he's like, yeah, man. I used to be the best in the world. Can you kind of explain to us? Because I'm going to butcher it. I try to explain what you were.
All right. So when I was a kid, I think I was like in 6th grade at the time, there was an indoor karting track, kind of like what K1 is, but it was like very beginning, before indoor karting got like big. And I went there on like a Friday evening with my stepdad at the time. And I like loved it and like won the race, and like I was like all about it. And this was when I was in 6th grade. Okay. And so then I kind of got thrown into that where like I was going to the indoor karting place every week, like multiple times a week. And I ended up like entering a league. I won a league. I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. I won this racing league. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, super serious.
Yeah.
I won this racing league. I was going up against all these adults. And the portion of the league was like, to win it was like, hey, if you win this league, you get like a test drive and like an outdoor go-kart, which like if anyone that knows that world, it's like indoors, like the battery powered, pretty much everyone's just on the gas doing the same shit. And like, as long as you have like the right line, you're gonna be quick. Outdoor, you know, we're talking like 60, 70 miles an hour, 2 inches from the ground.
Wait, what age are you?
So like 11,
Okay.
10 or 11, you know, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, drafting, close wheel to wheel, big circuits, taking like a minute and 10 seconds. Tried that, loved it.
So doing all this, you found out you were good. Did you and your dad like look for a coach, or are you basically teaching yourself, figuring this all out on your own?
I was just figuring it out on my own. I got really big into the iRacing world. So like when I was in 6th grade, have you seen those like racing simulators?
Yeah.
I actually had like a $500 racing simulator
Is this
steering
kind of
wheel.
like you got like a chair?
No. Like I didn't go that hard, but this, if you look at those guys that have the simulating chair,
Okay.
that steering wheel I had.
Yeah.
I just had it mounted to like my computer desk.
Okay.
And I would get home from school in 6th grade and like I would just do that.
Start
iRacing, yeah. And so I just I loved it. I loved the idea of it. And then yeah, so it's kind of self-taught. I never really had much of a coach.
Okay, started entering competitions. You're doing really well, and then walk us through.
Yeah, so I was doing well. You know, I competed in juniors for a little bit, was kind of scratching the surface, top 10 in the U.S. And then I made the transition over to senior, just a bigger engine, essentially. This was like when I was 16 or 15. You're able to compete in the senior division.
Okay.
And I ended up linking in with a race team out of Florida. So I was traveling to Florida quite frequently. I actually got like a warning from my school. It was like, yo, if you miss any more class, like, you're done.
Okay.
Because I would leave Wednesday evenings for a Thursday, Friday practice, Saturday, Sunday race, fly back late Sunday. Sometimes if I, was top 5 or whatever in the car, had to get inspected.
So are you traveling all over the world? So you say you're in like a league. So
Yeah, so we were racing, and that's where I experienced a lot of like traveling around the United States, because I was, Florida, like all of the Northwest, Texas, like this was all like I was driving there with my grandpa.
and you're bringing your own cart out there every time, or are you
at that point I was on a professional team that had like my own setup. I'd have a new engine every single race. Like it was a huge deal.
What color was your car?
Red and white. Yeah.
Not blue.
Yeah.
Checks out PDL, red.
Yeah,
white.
I mean red, white, and black's always been my thing.
All right, and then what are you winning at these? So you winning, you get like cash prizes, or you getting sponsorship type deals during?
A little bit was like sponsorship. A lot of it at that point was like you were punching points to be able to get to the next level. So it was like if you raced in Florida and you won a certain amount of races, you would get a bid to the national championships, where like throughout the year of 8 months, let's say 40 people got that invite, and then you go race the 40 best people in the United States.
Okay. And this still isn't just like age group. This is
I was in senior, so 15 years and up.
So you're racing against grown men
Yeah,
too.
grown men.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had some cool moments. I raced against like AJ Allmendinger, Max Verstappen, like some like yeah. So like it was a real thing. Like and then 1 year I'd won or 2 years in a row, I think I won the national championship for Rotax Senior.
That's hot.
Yeah.
So how did it play out? Like what happened?
So
Because you weren't just in Monaco.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So around the time I was 17, 18, I got offered an Indy Lights kind of F3 deal, where it was like, hey, you just join our team and we're gonna like push you into the pipeline type thing. And that's what people don't realize is like a lot of these guys like Max Verstappen, there's like these other guys that I know of, not put them on blast, but like they're picked out young and they're just kind of like breeded into it. They get all the best stuff. They're great drivers, but they're picked out young. And so I was kind of picked out by at the time it was this team called Phil Giebler Racing, and they were big in IndyCar. Phil Giebler was a racing IndyCar racer himself. They just had this kind of pipeline of like, you can join their karting team and then you get maybe the opportunity to do other stuff and kind of go from there. And I just was forced into a situation to where that was taken away from me. And I just kind of had this aha moment of like, well, then what the hell am I doing it for? And I just cold turkey stopped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was like when I was like 17, 18.
This is all interesting to me because I've never really thought about like how these drivers became drivers.
It all starts in karting.
It's not like they just come off the
learned
side
that
of the
this
street.
year.
Yeah, exactly. And so what skills like did you have that made you a good driver?
That's a good question. The ability to connect with the feeling. Like,
So when my sister was describing it to me, I think Max or somebody said is like, you know, when you play Call of Duty and you have this sensitivity level up to like 100 or whatever it is. So it's like,
Is
you're moving
Carly into
super
racing?
fast. Oh, she loves it.
Oh,
She'll
no
wake
shit.
up at 5 to watch it. Yeah, she's
yeah. Go Carly.
So she was, you know, describing this stuff to me, and it's like having the sensitivity level up as high as you can go, and you being self-aware and knowing that. Is that kind of what
yeah, like, I mean, we're talking like when I get into cars, I can still do it. If I were to go race a go-kart now, like, I mean, I love doing it, like going to like these local go-kart tracks and like, I walk in at 220 pounds, like I'll put up a top 5 time. Like I would almost bet anyone right now if I went to Coda and did their little kart thing that I can place a top 10 time of the month, maybe.
We're gonna see it this year. Just letting y'all.
Yeah, and so it's the ability to like feel the tires, like, because, oh man, we can get into this nerdy, but like your tire wall, right, it can only handle so much pressure. And the whole point of racing is finding the edge and not going over. If you go over, you rather understeer, right, or you slide out. Understeers for the front, slide outs for the rear, and finding that edge. And then just when it maybe gets over the edge and comes back down on the pressure, you can accelerate and go through the corner. And so it's all feeling weight shift, right? Like if you're turning left and you're braking, the weight shift on the right tire is what you need to feel, and feeling that pressure so that way the back left offloads and you could rotate easier. Something on 3 wheels rotates a lot faster than something on 4. It's like shit like that. That I can feel. I can do it in my Tesla. I can like literally feel when I'm turning, like, oh wow, I feel the car like rotating over. Yeah.
That was fun. When I first met Jeremy, he had, I can't remember what Ford it was.
Ford Fusion.
Anyways, I just remember him
Oh, I
telling me,
used
he's
to
like,
drive a Ford
he's like,
Fusion.
I have to drive this thing or else I would get every speeding ticket.
Oh, I'd be arrested if I
You'd
had
be arrested and wouldn't have a license and everything. No, and then he got his Tesla. I was like, all right, good luck. And first time in the car, we're shooting gabs past
I'm like,
people. I'm
I
like,
get.
oh no.
Yeah, that's why most
This
time
was a bad decision.
most time that's why I have it drive itself, just because I know like I won't get a ticket.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's something I'm still passionate about. Matter of fact, my house in New Braunfels, there was a track that was right there that like I debated getting like another go-kart and just racing. They have like the Masters, or what they call like the
Jeremy's just out there taking little kids' money.
so you could do Masters division where it's like rather it's like 35 and up, or if you weigh over like 205 pounds. And so I would fit into that, and I would just be busting people. Yeah, but the problem is the sport has changed a little bit. Not to get like down the rabbit hole, but the sport's changed a little bit, where it used to be like 2-stroke engines like cooking, and now they try to make it financially affordable, and now everyone drives like lawnmower engines like we're in the Midwest.
What kind of training do these drivers do?
A lot of reactivity, so like reaction stuff, core stability for sure, super strong necks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, like really high-end muscle endurance, stuff like that.
How long, like, at the peak, like, how long was like a race? It was like kind of like an F1 race?
No, it
Like,
wasn't
the
2
time?
hours. You know, we're looking like 15, 20
Is it
minutes.
the same thing where like you're sweating so much or like lose? Because don't they lose a lot of weight?
Oh yeah. Like
they're
when
in
we
there?
go race in like Indiana and stuff, and like it'd be the middle of August and it'd be 110 degrees, and
Yeah.
you know we'd have
your suit
yeah, it was insane, and like
No AC.
yeah, I mean we had air cool because we had nothing blocking it, so like
Okay, yeah.
you don't feel it when you're out there, and then all of a sudden like you go to across like we had to weigh our carts to make sure we all like weighed the same.
Yeah.
You're sitting there in a line of 40 people, and let's say you crash and you're in 40th, and you got to wait for 39 other people to fucking like weigh themselves. That's where it gets hot.
What was your, you do a pre-workout meal. What was your pre-race meal?
I wouldn't eat. Yeah, it was just it's like a cutie thing for me. I just kind of always felt like on edge. I didn't really want to get sleepy. This was before I obviously knew about nutrition like I do now. So now I understand it. But I just realized sometimes I would eat and get sleepy, and then now you're asking me to have a peak adrenaline and go and like try and make decisions. It was just kind of really
A
difficult.
liter of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, no, I like
Really
I
get the
would
brain
piece it
focused.
together. Like I would have
Never.
breakfast in the morning, whatever I was as a kid, and then
Yeah.
in the evenings we'd go get burritos or.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember my team out of Florida. We went to Chili's all the time.
What was your favorite racing experience? Favorite location, favorite track,
Yeah.
Memory.
win, loss, favorite racing experience.
Oh man, two that stick out: Newcastle, Indiana. Really cool track. One of the favorite tracks I've ever driven. There was a national championship out there, and I went from like 17th to 2nd in the final or the third or in the pre-final, something like that. And it was just like that feeling of like when you're in a flow state, like that's what I felt like. You know, there was definitely races where I was like struggling super hard and you're fighting for position. And there's like races where it just felt like every pass was effortless. Like that my cart was like the best one on the track, which I think I did set the fastest lap. And it was like, that was a cool feeling. Outside of that, I did another race in Utah where it was like AJ Allmendinger and like these like professional race car drivers like happened to have the weekend off and like wanted to come to the national championship, and they were gifted like a spot to compete. And that was the first realization of like these guys, I was quicker than them. Obviously, like they're racing stock cars and like maybe they're not used to the go-kart speed, or I don't know. But I was quicker, but I could not pass them just because their skill level was that high. And I was like, oh my God, like this is like a first realization of like these guys don't fuck around. And it was really cool because, you know, it was AJ Allmendinger and he's like a professional race car driver getting paid millions, and I'm this 16-year-old kid and he's like pushing me off the track, like wheel to wheel. We get in the scales, I'm behind him pissed off, and he's like, well, fucking learn how to do it better. I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
Like, maybe I fucking will.
Yeah.
If I am gonna lose, it was to that guy, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I got him or not, but I just remember I spent like 5 laps trying.
That's super cool. I would have pictured you would have been like, oh, when I won this race, but it's not. It was like I went from 17th to like 2nd, got in like a flow state.
Yeah.
Just coming back from all that, battling through.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because it makes it fun.
That's really cool.
So.
All right. So I wanted to touch on that because that blew my mind. Totally forgot about it. Sorry about that.
When he said that to me, I thought he was fucking with me. I was like, no, you didn't.
We're
We
literally
were maybe
sitting
watching
on the-
F1
yeah.
at our friends. So
We're literally sitting on the couch, and remember they were talking about. I was like, shit, I was supposed to bring that up. He's like, maybe you should write that down next time.
I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was another experience that anyways, Jeremy, if you guys listened to the previous episode, military, gone to medical, was on a forward surgical team. And then what year was I don't want to say it yet, but what year did this?
2019.
It was in 2019. So
Or 2018, maybe.
2018, 2019, when the Las Vegas shooting happened at the concert. Jeremy was there.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, can you kind of walk us through your experience that night? And
Yeah, so it's the country music festival that was there, and me and my buddy Eric, my other best friend, went every single year from the start of it, and so it just kind of became like a routine that we did 3-4 years into it, I think. And that specific year, my like entire family went. My other best friend Nick came up. We had like a couple friends of ours from high school up there, and to like jump to the incident essentially.
I guess so. Like, say, like, kind of walks through. You guys get there, you're having a good time. Everything seems.
Yeah, I mean, we went to a pool party, so we were pretty lubricated going in, and we were letting it flow. It was Vegas. We were at we were at.
like that's actually the first hotel I've ever stayed at in Vegas too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was after that.
we were at Wet Republic all day. If anyone that knows what Wet
They had good
Republic
deals.
is, like,
Yeah, they were cheap. That's why we stayed there.
and so we walked in there pretty juiced up, and kept going, and the artists are coming in and out, and Jason Aldean steps up there, and I was sitting next to my buddy Nick, and I remember when it first happened.
Was Nick also military?
No, Nick was not. Nick was Asian nerd. Nick was, I mean, he went to, like, Nick is awesome. He went to school, like, kind of one of those guys that, like, he knew what he was going to school for, and, like, got into some sick internships. So he was not military at all.
Okay.
But he was familiar with guns, though. And so I think that was kind of what, like, started
no medical experience?
No medical experience.
Okay.
That was kind of what started it. Was like the first gunshots went off, and it was like, we kind of looked at each other, like, because it kind of sounded like speakers, like the speakers popped or something.
Yeah,
it was like, bop, 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 and it was like,
And it's a country concert. You don't know what's playing.
yeah. Then we were like, oh,
Juiced up.
yeah, and then like it's like, and then it like got repetitive. It was like, we were like, dude, that sounds like, and me knowing just like weapons, I'm like, that sounds belt fed, dude. Like, they're not. It's not just like someone on the street outside the concert popped off a Glock. Like, we're talking like a big weapon. And then all of a sudden, people just started dropping, and it was mayhem.
Okay. So people start dropping. What's going through your head?
First, like realizing what's going on.
And you're with how many people with you?
Oh man, it was me, Eric, Nick, my mom. My mom had like 3 friends.
And you're all together though, like during this,
in the
like
vicinity.
while it was happening.
Yeah, in the vicinity. Like we're all dancing. I have a video of my best friend Eric dancing with my mom, and at the end of the video, you can hear the gunshots. Yeah.
Yep.
So like we were in the concert.
Oh my God.
And then I do what's even crazier to think back on. So the stage was in the middle, like if you're looking at it from the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the right side is where like majority of the people died. Like an hour before the event or the shooting happened, my buddy Eric and I were trying to like pick up chicks, and like we were on the right side.
Okay.
And then it was super crowded because it was the final
Yeah.
day, and it was
Yeah.
Jason Aldean was getting ready to come on. We were like, let's go meet up with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So we left that area and went and hung out with my mom.
Okay.
Wow.
So that starts happening. Obviously, you know, military experience, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say like you're used to the situation, because I don't think you ever, I mean, you might get used to it, but you kind of have like a sense and idea of what's going on now.
Yeah.
What steps are you taking once you realize what's happening?
Yeah, the first thing we did, Nick and I, we found a way just to be safe. Like, so
Okay.
I think we hid behind like a food truck. There were some people that kind of got hit, and we were helping them out a little bit. And then after that, I wanted to make sure like my family was safe.
Okay.
And so then once we helped out some people, you know, there's some injuries that were going on that I helped out with. Nick was kind of sitting there. Nick is awesome, like just kind of like in that moment, just kind of like a kind of an alpha type male where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you're gonna like help me type thing.
Yeah.
And then once we kind of like organized that, then we like found an escape and exit and went from there.
Okay.
Made our way back. We lost Eric. We could not find Eric. That was super nerve wracking. And then I grabbed a gun and hung out in the hotel for a little bit.
You grabbed a gun.
Yeah.
So you brought
Like
with
we had
you?
one. Yeah, I had one.
I
Yeah.
figured.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you were rendering first aid. Can you kind of, you don't have to tell us exactly.
No, just like little stuff, like you know,
Like, did somebody get like trampled and?
yeah, like
that, but
trampled,
people-
cut up,
Okay.
like stuff like that. People that aren't experienced with that. Like, I mean, we're in Vegas, like no one is, but
Yeah.
Did you actually walk by anybody who was like?
so
that died?
Eric got like a girl in front of us got her head blown off, and like Eric,
Oh my God.
like she got shot in the face and like landed on Eric, and it was just like blood all down his shirt. So that's what was crazy, was like we lost Eric because Eric had dealt with that. We like ran, and then Eric got like thrown into this pit at the airport, like some hangar for like security. And this was like around 10 p.m. when it happened. And then like at 3 a.m. was when we finally made contact with Eric. And it was the
my God.
craziest thing. I will never forget this. Nick and I, because I had my gun on me, went out to the hallway to greet Eric at the elevator. And like the elevator doors open, and you see Eric just pale white with blood all down his shirt.
Shock.
And it was just
Yeah.
like, we just like embraced him. We were like, welcome back.
Oh my God, chills.
Yeah. And then we had to get on
So
I had to get on an
funny.
airplane like 3 hours later.
I don't think I would have been able to. I mean, I would have wanted to get the fuck out of there, but like also, I don't know.
Yeah.
Complete
Wow.
shock. Have you gone back to Vegas?
I've not been back to Vegas since. I don't know. It's not, I wouldn't say it's unrelated. I wouldn't say it's unrelated. I would just say like that was my reason every year to go. And then obviously they stopped doing the concert.
Yeah.
So I just haven't gone back.
Got it.
If someone invited me, I'd be down to go. I wouldn't say like
You
that
were just
affects
full
me.
of interesting,
Yeah.
wild life experiences.
No, it is one of those things like
I
stuff
feel like,
like
you had
that.
a very
Yeah, I have
chill
a
life.
lot of different life experiences. I was fortunate enough in the military, you know, entrepreneurship, like things I experienced in the military, traveling, like
Yeah.
things I've been fortunate enough to do where, you know, that's a part of like the self-awareness for me. I've been like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm really fortunate, because a lot of people say that like you've experienced a lot. And I'm like, I guess I have, right? And it's weird to tell the stories but yeah.
Now you're here to
got
help
an interesting-
people get shredded and
Yeah.
get in shape.
Yeah,
And
Jeremy's got a very interesting full book at the age of 20, almost 9.
Yeah. And that was that kind of that story, and it's just insane. My mom, it affected my mom quite a bit. Yeah. So
Yeah. All right. Those were the two things that I wanted to touch on. And then
yeah, you probably have like 35 fun facts or 350 fun facts.
yeah.
yeah.
Like
whatever.
that's.
And I'm sure I'm gonna find out more in the future, and I'm gonna bring them up.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. To go through an experience like that. I didn't know about the whole couldn't find your buddy. I bet
No, dude.
your
Like,
heart went out your asshole. Like,
yeah, Nick and I mean, we
Was
had
there
been,
any like phone communication?
no, because he was in the hangar.
Phone dropped.
He was in the hangar, so we couldn't get a hold of him. Yeah, man. And like those are like my best friends from the time I was like young. And so it's like that was like a oh shit moment.
Yeah.
I think we knew he was all right, but it was just like we couldn't get a hold of him.
Gotcha. That's scary, man.
Yeah. So
Okay. I want this to pivot from that.
Okay.
And sunshine rainbows now. No, but I kind of want to dive into some of our more frequently asked questions, more so in the nutrition side of training things.
Was there anything you wanted to know, Ashley?
Yeah.
Like personal?
Sure.
Yeah. One-on-one coaching session.
Should it have to do like with fitness?
Anything.
No.
Anything.
Because this is what we talked about.
Stress, sleep, life, training.
Filet or sea bass?
Filet.
Oh no!
You get the golden opportunity on the world's #1 podcast.
Steak or a sea bass?
I just had to ask.
You
It's
go
like,
filet or
guys, a Chilean sea bass is the most delicate
who
thing
brought
on
her?
earth.
Who brought her?
Okay, I just had to because food's on my mind. I'm hungry.
Okay.
I need protein. Speaking of protein,
What's up?
how much protein should girls have? Because my friends and my cousins and everybody ask me all the time. Like I wrote out a whole list the other day. They're like, "What has protein?" And like I know all this because like I've been doing this for years, macros, and I write. I can tell you 4 ounces has this. Like
Yeah.
how much?
A really good easy metric to do is a pound per or a gram per pound of body weight.
Okay, that's what I've always
That
tried to
applies
roll with.
male, female?
Pretty much. Really, where the alterations come in is how physically active they are. Like if you're not needing to rebuild muscle, then you can kind of come down to like 0.8.
Yeah, if you're not at your goal weight, say you're a 150-pound girl and you're trying to get to 130, you know.
I would just say just do the goal weight.
Okay.
Just do the goal weight for protein, and that's kind of what it bounces off. It's just more so like if, let's say you're at 130 pounds and you're just kind of happy with where you're at, you do yoga, you're just kind of like casual.
Yeah.
Then you can come down to like 0.7, 0.8. There's not that need to push really high, but if you are adding stressors to the body that need to recover, then definitely worth going to a pound per pound or a gram per pound of body weight.
And when people are looking for the protein, what if somebody's doing like 3 protein shakes, 25 grams each for their protein? Like, would you recommend like, hey,
Whole Foods
get
is
some
always
food.
Whole Foods is always better, right? Like
exactly.
your body's got to work to digest it a little bit. The amino acid profile is a little bit like I always say, like don't eat chicken every single meal as well. Like you just a good mixture of amino acid profile from each different type of meat will benefit you in the long run. So supplements are to do that. Just supplement your diet. They're not meant for you to be your only diet, right? I think one of the first times I talked to Ashley, she did a 5-day diet where she ate 500 calories.
No,
and
I
she lasted about
didn't.
8 hours because I roasted her for 12.
I did not. I made it to day 3 and it was 1,200, 800, 800. And this was my post Scottsdale. If it was the last one where I ate the extra large pizza by myself. I was like, I just need to mentally get back into it. So I'm going to just do this for 3 days. And then I was like, fuck this mentally. I like cannot function.
Yeah.
So I just went back. I know the correct way to eat. And I know it's only good to do that every once in a while. So that's like, okay, if you want to do a mini cut, right? Like, so 4 weeks from now, I want to be pretty shredded.
So
What do you do?
I guess I'll be like the part 2 of the question, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you mini shred or whatever you want to call it? But the corny answer, the correct answer is obviously like putting yourself in a good position to where you can just make minor changes that bring out maybe the physique that you want, right? Like people that are working really, really hard on their physique, tracking their nutrition. Hey, I'm a week or 2 out from my vacation. What can I do? Okay, cool. Now we can manipulate carbs, fat, drop the fat down and lose some water weight and you look really, really lean. There's no such thing as a mini cut that's going to look good and be sustainable. That's like going to fix shit diet and eating like an asshole for years, right? And like that's what's always interesting to me is, if you eat like an asshole for a year and a half, you can't. There's a time on the back end that you have to give in order to get that same result, right? Like you can't spend 4 years eating like an asshole and then expect to lose it in 2 months.
Yeah.
So
Not the healthy way.
even then, like, sure, yeah, not the healthy way, but like even then, if like, okay, you go do like something ridiculous of any of the fad diets out there, you're gonna show up to your vacation pissed off and like upset because like, and no one wants to be around you because you can't eat anything. Like, versus like, just like establish a normal diet to where like you're kind of just like trending downwards, and then then we can play with it. Like, one of my clients is a high end model, and like, and I won't name her because it's just, there's no point, but it's just the idea that like we do that with her. Like she eats really, really clean, 75% clean. And then it's like, hey, I got to shoot in 2 weeks. It's like, cool. Like, since you're already kind of lean, like you're already like there, now let's just manipulate some carbs and we can do some digestive enzymes, like little things like that just like clean things up. Boom, she photo shoots, looks really good, and it's like now she goes back to her 75% clean, 80% clean.
Is there like a recovery period, or do you go right back to the same numbers and everything?
If it depends. Okay. Depends how kind of they are. Like that's where I count like stress, like hey, how stressful is travel, like all that. You know, how stressed are you? Okay. You know, we can manipulate things off of that. Okay. But if it was just like a photo shoot, yeah, you can roll right back into it. Okay.
Which brings up like being a female and like stress and like hormones. Like at one point I had an online coach, and now I've like learned more about like fats, I think, but like women need a certain amount of fats compared to like men, right? I was like way too low, and I think that was like some of my issues too.
Yeah, and that's why you see like a lot of these professional bodybuilders that are women that like lose their menstrual cycle and like, like, hey, that's not normal, you know? And then that's why I always tell people like, there's a sacrifice you have to make at all spectrums. Like if you're trying to get super fucking lean, you got to make a sacrifice of, I don't know, being happy. Like the 3 H's we always talk about, like everyone, no matter if you're cutting, bulking, maintaining, whatever verbiage you want to use, I look for the 3 H's.
What are the 3 H's, Jeremy?
Happy, horny, and hungry. Like those will like literally walk you on target to like if you are eating the correct amount of things. Like if you wake up pissed off, if you wake up with no sex drive, and if you wake up happy, horny, hungry, and like you're not hungry, you're like not wanting to eat. There's a difference between fasting and like not being hungry. Like we all know those people that are just like so stressed and like I can't eat. It's like, okay, well, that's not good, right? And you probably experienced that with business or something where like you just don't want to eat or
no, that's
stressed.
Actually not an issue of mine. I overeat.
Okay, good, good.
I'll binge. If you see me binge eating,
I'll try to force feed myself. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and
Never
so like the 3 H's is a really good one. Happy, horny, hungry. Like if you're not one of those, something's off, right? And so when we get into women, there's a certain amount of minimum calories that you need just for your body to operate at rest. And same thing with men. It's a little bit higher, not much higher, but a little bit higher. And then so it's like when you get these women that are down there around the minimum just to be able to exist, and then they go work out for 3 hours. Yeah, they're probably gonna look super lean, but hormones are not the best. And like,
to be honest, like at least most of my girlfriends or girls that I talk to, they like skip all the basic steps, right? Like what do I need to do and go to this extreme? And I'm like the Whole Foods thing. Like I switched to Whole Foods a few years ago because of gastro issues. And that like changed my life. It changed my body.
Yeah, and
I think that's the easiest way to start.
I've just never understood the reasoning as to why people will not just eat like it's not jail. Like you can eat healthy.
I
and
love
still,
healthy food.
Like live your life, enjoy your life. You can also eat a little bit of garbage. I'm a sucker for cookies. I'm a sucker for like shit like that. It's just like where it becomes an issue is you have no control or no awareness of what you're eating. Versus it's like these people do these crash diets, like you're making yourself unhappy. And then what ends up happening is people take crash diets and all that shit to lose a bunch of weight, and they correlate that to fitness and health, and they say you're crazy because you're so fitness and health, and like I could never. And it's like, well, it's because you've never like it's because you never have. Like you've just been doing crash diets where like you hate yourself,
and eventually just learn it. Like to me, it's not even I will not grab stuff out of a grocery store that just doesn't fit me because it's just so like routine and normal, like like how do you say no? And I'm like, I've just gradually done this for 6 years now to where it's not even like a question.
Yeah, and and your taste buds change. Like that's kind of what I always tell people is like I felt like I was eating clean in high school, learned something, eat healthier now, then like learn something else, earn healthier. To like if I looked back at 22 and I thought I was like super dialed, like now I'm way more dialed. And it's like one of those things like, but my taste buds have changed. Like genuinely speaking, just not trying to be an asshole, like donuts do nothing for me. Like there's no part of me that wants to go like
I fucking love donuts.
But like it just I haven't had it for so long. I think it would legitimately make me sick. And it's like same thing with like
it will
gluten. Like people that like take out gluten. I don't really eat gluten that much, but again, it's just irrelevant. It's just the idea of like when you take it out, then when you go to reintroduce it in your diet, then maybe you have an issue. It's like same thing with dairy. Anyone can go take dairy out of their diet for 3 months, and then when they go to introduce dairy again, your body's not used to having it. It's gonna fuck you up. So my taste buds have just changed so much to where like I genuinely enjoy eating steak, potatoes, and veggies or whatever it may be. And granted, and like on that note, it's like when I eat cookies, I'll go through a period where like every week I'm eating cookies and it's like a fiend. Like I can't get out of it.
I have to like cold turkey things. I found.
But like recently I haven't had it in like 2-3 weeks. And so it's like
Wait, a cookie?
Yeah.
I just saw you eat a cookie today.
Shit, right. No, but I used to get these Trader Joe's ones that were just...
Okay.
I might get them later today.
Same thing, but those little Trader Joe's mini ice cream cones.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had those.
Boxes.
Yeah.
And
My
like,
thing
I have to
is
stop.
the nuts at Whole Foods. Like I always go to like, you know, where you fill up a bag with like pistachios and stuff. And I always got to let myself...
Nuts.
I gotta let myself have a couple like chocolate
couple nuts a day. Nice.
Couple nuts a day.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I was gonna say, Jeremy, don't say it. Don't say it.
I always just line them up. I line them up. I know everything that comes out. Couple nuts a day.
All right, you guys. With summer coming around, we're in Texas right now. We just got slapped in the face with a heat wave, and it's like 110% humid outside. We're sweating bullets out here. What are some your key ways, takeaways, advice for people to stay hydrated this summer? That's one of the most asked questions we got. Is
You get your white girl stamp.
how to hydrate if water just isn't enough.
Well, water is enough. It's just people don't drink it. That's problem number one, right? And I hate to be one of those people that's like just gives out the basic answer, but that's something I'll always default to before.
You say gallon a day, like people say.
That's a good metric, but
Okay.
everyone has their own based off of, you know, how much they weigh, how big they are as a person, activity level, sweat level. Sure, a gallon a day. I would just say go find out I don't remember the formula. There's like a complicated formula that like you can, or a recommended daily dose.
But 8 ounces a day, people.
8 ounces is not
enough.
it, right? Like a really good metric
Coffee
to use, honestly, a really good trick. This is what I would tell anybody. Have a glass of water before you eat, a glass of water before after you eat, every time you eat. So if you're a normal American, or normal person, I don't say American, but if you're a normal person, if you're a normal person eating 3 times a day, you know, that's 6 glasses of water. You're going to be close. And like, then let's add in like a little bit of water, like around your workout, like whatever it may be, like you're going to be close. It's the people that don't do that and start with coffee, eat food, maybe with another cup of coffee, then all of a sudden now we're dehydrating ourselves even more with the caffeine. And then, you know, then you get into water consumption, maybe, or maybe you don't. Like I'm really bad at it because I just don't carry around my water like I should. But yeah. And then like in terms of like upping hydration, it kind of gets tricky. Like people always default to like the electrolytes. I don't know if that's like always the right answer.
Electrolytes are because
Oh, what?
BCAAs.
Yeah,
I used to
BCAAs.
use
Like
those.
I will say, like BCAAs are good for flavoring the water. Like that's what
So I
use.
have to cheat and I have to like do the stupid sometimes, like little squirt bottles,
Yeah,
like
that's what I
something.
do.
Because it just like helps.
Yeah, I
me
mean,
get
whatever helps, right? And like that's kind of what I would recommend to do for anybody is flavor your water in a way you like it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, the people that are like sucking down electrolytes all day long, it's like unless you're a really high level athlete and you've probably gotten your sweat tested to where you know you're losing minerals, then it'd be like beneficial.
Okay, that's
But-
what I wanted to also talk to you about. So like, let's say some people sweat more than other.
Yeah.
So if you're one person that, you know, you step into a room and all of a sudden you just start sweating,
Drenched.
Yeah.
would you recommend said person start taking some salt, or is that
I mean, it's not as easy as just saying yes, because like, what if you're not losing minerals, right? Like, there's salty sweaters. There's not like if you know you're a salty sweater. Like, I don't think I'm a salty sweater. I've never got officially tested, but
is there a benefit to just like having salt water in the morning, like?
lemon water for sure.
Lemon water.
Yeah. I don't really know too much about the salt. I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but you know, there's other than just topping off kind of the electrolytes. Lemon water is a good start to the day. But yeah, like what isn't hydrating is like not drinking water and then taking an electrolyte mix and thinking that like that fixed it. Like
I do that.
your body needs like
You're that guy.
your body needs blood volume. Like that's what it is. It's like blood volume is what hydration is.
Yeah. I'm the guy that's like, I haven't drank enough water today. I'm just gonna go get a packet of Hoist, call it good.
Yeah. So
It's like 2 p.m. some days, and I'm like, I haven't had a glass of water to like get to the gym.
If I don't pee like 10 times a day, I feel like I'm dehydrated.
That's what I always tell people. If you're like noticing, you know, yourself being thirsty, you're probably a little bit behind. That's what I run into a lot. I'm like, fuck, I'm really thirsty, and it's like, So
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I got to get back to it. Water. It is fucking hot down here.
Yeah.
There's a heat warning yesterday.
Always just stay ahead. Yeah, stay ahead and you'll be all right.
Okay. And so we do our team Zoom calls, and you've brought this up on multiple occasions. Your kind of go-to top 5 daily supplements. Can you elaborate on that? Tell
Yeah.
us what you got.
Wait, just the other day, are these the ones that you told me to buy?
Not for you. No.
Okay,
They weren't for you. That was super specific for your stress and whatnot. The ones that I think everyone should probably take.
More general.
Yeah, creatine. It's the most researched.
Is this women and men?
Yep, women and men. I don't discriminate. Creatine monohydrate. Most research. Yep, 5 grams a day. Okay. Most research supplement there is out there.
Okay.
Second would be caffeine of some sort. Same thing. Like it is a supplement.
Does timing of caffeine matter?
Yes. Yeah, depending on what you're using it for sure.
Not first thing when you wake up.
Yeah, and that's we could probably talk about that next episode, like cortisol.
Yeah.
And timing of caffeine. Okay. That could be a 45-minute episode in itself. But the goal would not be to just jump out of bed and suck down caffeine.
Feeling.
Yeah, utilizing it for the effect that it is, right? Increasing awareness, alertness, energy, power, like that kind of stuff. Is what you need to use it for. If you're using it for a crush to get through the day, other things are wrong. Let's not look at caffeine.
I get a headache if I don't have it right away.
That's a problem.
I just use it to poop. So creatine.
Yeah,
caffeine.
creatine, caffeine, B complex should be really good.
Okay.
Just the ability to metabolize things in a better way and utilize energy as fuel type of thing. It's just optimizing that. Has to do with the thyroid, stuff like that.
All of these are pill form, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, pill form. I mean, besides caffeine, but it's obvious.
4,
I would say, vitamin D3, especially now at today's age. Mostly everyone's going to be vitamin D deficient.
Not D1 or D2, but D3.
D3.
Sick.
Yep. And start with 3,000 to 5,000 IUs. If you go get your blood work done, I have clinically low vitamin D3, so I take 10,000. That's not recommended. Not recommended out there. It's not recommended unless you are low on vitamin D3. But 3,000 to 5,000 IUs won't do you any wrong. And then the last one, I would say, this one where it kind of gets floating in and out, but I'm a fan of magnesium. If you are sweating, if you are working out, magnesium's kind of that good kind of relaxation at the end of the day.
Now there's different kinds of magnesium though, because I take a powder to go to bed.
Yeah, so it's
and sometimes I'll even pop another 500 pill. I'm overdosing on magnesium, I think. Is that a thing?
I don't know about the overdosing part. I would have to look into that. But
because then there's another one that helps you go to the bathroom.
Fun
Two
fact,
different
I almost
magnesium.
overdosed on vitamin D as a kid.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. I ate the whole, and I liked the way it tasted, and I ate the entire bottle.
Yeah, no, I mean,
poison control, put me in the bathtub.
Legitimate.
That's where it's people don't realize the supplements more is not better. If you need to take pre-workout to work out and it has caffeine, and you're like, damn, I need 2 scoops. It's
wait, do you guys do pre-workout?
I don't. I just do a daily caffeine intake around the time where I need really critical thought or maybe, and that's usually about 2 hours before I work out.
Okay.
I do not. I'll typically just run off my morning coffees. I've found that if I do take pre-workout, I'll get more anxious, heart rate spiked, and then...
Yeah, I mean, what people don't realize is in caffeine, in pre-workout, there's only a certain amount of ingredients that actually have been proven to work, and it's caffeine, beta-alanine, creatine.
Exactly.
Oftentimes the creatine's underdosed, the beta-alanine's underdosed, and all it is 300 milligrams of caffeine.
I can't do pre-workout. My heart gets way too
challenge anybody to look at their favorite pre-workout, look at the back. 1, if it's a blend, they're robbing you. 2, if it's not a blend, it lists out guaranteed it's 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's about average of what the pre-workouts are going for nowadays.
Okay.
And that's what just makes you through the roof. And then if they dose the beta-alanine properly, you get the tingling in your face. Yeah. And then you just unlock a superpower. So what people don't realize is you have your cup of coffee, and then all of a sudden now you go load up on pre-workout, you're cranking 500, 600 milligrams a day. And then now you can't sleep, and you're like, oh, I can't sleep. Let me go suck down 10 milligrams of melatonin. Mm-hmm. And this is a whole rabbit hole of oh, well, now I'm my day's all groggy the next day. It's well, because oftentimes what they put on the label isn't even accurate for the melatonin, so they can give you 3 to 5 times the dose that says it's in there, and now you're groggy all damn day.
Yeah.
And so that's where you get in the bad habits. So it's like just getting the 5 basics in there, not abusing it. If you're doing pre-workout, fine. Don't add it on top of your other pre-workout or your other caffeine. But those are like the 5 that I would say are like pretty staple. Then depending on kind of how much you're eating, stress in your life, you can throw in probiotics, you can throw in, some fish oils. It just kind of depends on what, like for you, it was ashwagandha and then a little bit of like cortisol management. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, non-stim pre-workout changed my life.
Yeah, non-stim pre-workout. And then also oftentimes, like, that's where you get into like really good warm-ups, like actually warming up properly so what happens when you take pre-workout, your body gets forced to raise its cortisol and adrenaline. So adrenaline is followed by cortisol. Adrenaline follows cortisol. Okay. So when you drink caffeine, your cortisol raises, which then makes adrenaline follow, right? And so like if we were to get attacked by a lion, all of a sudden your shoulder or eye that's hurting doesn't really hurt anymore because cortisol just fucking gets rid of all that.
Yeah.
It's why in the middle of the night, your cortisol drops to nothing. Okay. And that's why if you itch like a bug bite, it gets super itchy because all of our inflammatory processes are
now I'm wanting to like itch the stitches on my face.
All of our inflammatory processes are run through that. So we don't have cortisol and all of a sudden we itch ourselves like a bug bite or mosquito bite and you're just like, you start going crazy. It's because your body's trying to relax, so the cortisol is not there.
So interesting.
And so what ends up happening with caffeine is, people are not feeling the best, and so they take caffeine, which then spikes cortisol and spikes adrenaline. And now it's like they kind of just artificially got into it, but that doesn't make the root cause that like, hey, maybe not you're warmed up or like you're just not, maybe you should take a rest day type thing. Versus raising your internal body temperature through a warm up will actually raise cortisol levels, which then helps adrenaline naturally. And so that's a big delineation for people is like really do a good warm up, get on the treadmill, raise your body temperature. When you raise the body temperature, your cortisol levels follow and so will your adrenaline, which then primes the body to be able to train better.
This conversation just brought up like 1,800 other questions that we're not going to be able to get through, but I will write them.
Hit me with one. We got time. I'll do one more.
Caffeine before workout. You said yours is about 2 hours before, right?
Roughly. I just drink it while I start working. But
if it's recommended that, like, I tried not to do caffeine 8 hours before bed because I thought, but what if people work out at night? Like, what are they supposed to do? Just have their caffeine
non-stim
earlier in the day?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not to be like a dick, but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, sucks us up.
I found that non-stim does not affect my sleep if I take it at night.
Yeah, non-stim's fine.
I've never even heard of what you're saying.
Non-stim pre-workout is just pre-workout with caffeine.
Got it.
It's just a non-stim pre-workout.
Beta-alanine a little bit.
Yeah.
So for those night owls,
you get the itchies and the go without the heart attack, anxiety, and
and so obviously that brings up like optimal workout times, like stuff like that. You can get that's a cortisol question when we get into that episode, but just no caffeine before you work out because it is that 8 hours before bed because the half-life of caffeine is that 60-minute time frame, and so
favorite gym you've ever been to? Now I have a question for you.
I mean, Collective's up there.
Okay.
Like the Collective North to be specific.
Yeah.
The ability where it's laid out, how you can do turf stuff, bodybuilding stuff, platforms.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
If you love a good gym.
Really cool people. The team here that works the front desk is super awesome, super friendly. Just the environment's really good at training. I'm a really big environment person, not in the sense that you need someone to push you, but you walk in here, there's professional athletes training super hard. There's trainers that are training properly, which is a huge flag for me. Like if I see trainers that are actually training properly, I'm like pumped. Mm-hmm. You don't have someone that just did a weekend cert and they're having someone do something stupid. So, that is kind of a huge tale for me, and just the environment, the music, like it's a vibrant place, and so Collective is like super top notch.
It's taken me 1.5 years to get here and to go, and I'm like stoked that I have now. But so that would be probably the top. Cool.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, so now we know our next topic for whatever episode this is going to be. We're going to talk about cortisol. So if you guys have questions on kind of how to optimize your day and how to optimize kind of energy levels throughout the day, make sure you ask that in this episode. I'll get into it because that's an hour talk within itself.
Beautiful. All right.
Cool.
Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a review, or you're dead to Jeremy. And
I stand by that.
He stands by that.
And me, because I'm on here, so.
And we will see you next time, you guys. Thank you for listening.